Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
This next quote absolutely sums up how we should live and what we should do. Only when we have knelt before God can we stand before men. Amen. Good morning, everybody. Here comes Kate Smith and God Bless America, followed by a patriot with our Pledge of Allegiance. Come on now, don't let me down. Call in. Good morning. I never tire of listening to that song. Thank you so much, and a good morning to all of you out there. I'm Zeb Bell, Zeb at the Ranch, with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you, along with some of our great advertisers, including Western Waste Services, always at your disposal. Call them at 734-6969. Red, white, and blue radio for the next 3 hours. Thank you, America. And right now, good morning. Let's have our Pledge of Allegiance. You're on the air. Go.
Good morning. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lorna, your voice is so good on the air, and you do a wonderful job. God bless you and have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. You have a wonderful day, too.
That is a very nice lady right there. Oh, my goodness sakes, we got a lot of things going on this morning. Busy Thursday, and right now we're going to start things off with the weather, brought to you by K&R Rental, 256 South, 600 west of Hayburn. They're there already, man. They've been there for over an hour. They start at 7 in the morning till 5:30 Monday through Friday. Saturday, 7 to 2, and they've got everything over there. All your forklifts, power tools, lawnmowers. Yeah, they've got it. Your gardening tools, and they're a Honda engine dealer. That all the parts you might need for your wheel lines. Hey, give them a call. Stop in 678-3122 K&R Rental. Right now, here's Gina with the weather.
We are still in that red flag warning. It is going to be in effect through the weekend and probably extended until Mother Nature gives us some moisture. I don't know if that's going to be happening anytime soon, as this high-pressure system is still sticking around. For today, we are looking at sunny to partly cloudy skies, a little bit on the breezy side, winds out of the southeast, 5 to 10 miles an hour. High of 94 tonight, partly cloudy skies, low of 60. Tomorrow, partly cloudy skies, high of 94 with an overnight low of 61. Getting close to the triple-digit mark for Saturday. That is your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
I do not mind a little breeze with these temperatures. Weather brought to you by K&R Rental, 256 South, 600 west of Hayburn, 678-3122. We're going to have Roger on the phone with us later on this morning. Today is sale day at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard. Merv May, come on in here. Let's hear that chant, my goodness. There you go, Merv May. I think the world's best auctioneer right there at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley. Number to call for cattle consignment and sale information, 678-9411. Merv and Kate Rogge, Lance Udy at the sale that works for you. Today's sale day at 11 o'clock, and they're going to have a lot of butcher cows coming in from P-Bar S Dairy, Oak Valley Dairy, Acme Dairy, TLK dairy, lots of butcher cows, and then don't forget a lot of cattle coming in on that trailer line run. Sale time at 11 o'clock this morning at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley, 6789411. Merv, sell those steers.
All right, he gets the steer calves there here to get all the 31, 1.5, 31, 1.5, and 32, 2.5, 3.5, 134, 4.5, and 5.5, 5.5, 130, 550, 135, and selling $1.35. Zeb Bell gets bottom again.
He is smooth when it comes to that chant. Merv May does a great job. We've got a lot of things on our plate this morning to discuss, and we've got It's Time to Grow with Tony McCammon, Kyla at the Chamber of Commerce. We've got Cassia County School Days, and John Zemerick, Dr. John Zemerick, is going to be on at 10:30 this morning, talking about the absolutely heartbreaking case over in Great Britain with that infant Charlie Gard. And he has written an excellent piece in the stream, and we're going to have his thoughts at 10:30 this morning. Don't forget our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric. Hello, Rita. Hello, everybody at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Yeah, I don't have to tell you. Listen, that air conditioner's going on every morning early, and people are going, come on, cool me down, cool me down. Well, if you want to stay cool, you better make sure you've got the best of air filters that are clean and ready to help your air conditioner do the job. They have them in a case of 12, or you can buy one, whatever you need. They've got them over at Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Number to call, 678-0459, where they provide warm winters and cool summers at Ramsey Heating and Electric. Now, I want to get right to this. I knew it. Somebody would call me and say, they called me last night on my cell phone and they said, is Lunch Bunch tomorrow? No, it's not today. It is next week on Thursday, the 20th. And please don't forget that. Next week on Thursday, the 20th at 11:30 at 611 North Overland in Burley, Denny's Restaurant, America's Diner. And also another location at 291 Pole Line Road in Twin Falls. Holy cow. The burgers, they've got a complete new list of burgers like the Bourbon Bacon Burger. I love that. Bourbon Bacon Burger just kind of rolls right off your tongue. And the Bacon Avocado Cheeseburger, and one of my favorites, really, really good, the Honey Jalapeno Bacon Sriracha Burger. You're going to love all the burgers. You're going to love all the food at Denny's Restaurant, 611 Overland in Burley. And it is the home of Zeb's Lunch Bunch. Absolutely great. Calls are welcome. Yesterday, they were kind of like hen's teeth, hard to find for a while. And then all of a sudden, the floodgates opened up and people started calling in. But don't wait till the last minute. Give me a jingle on the landline. I am going to be talking about one of the most egotistical, one of the most arrogant, self-serving politicians that I have ever heard on the radio or TV in my life in just a minute. He's the kind of a guy that you would like to reach through the TV screen and tap him on the beak and give him a personality adjustment. I'll talk about that in just a little bit. Hey, Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, and they're located at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. They get there early in the morning and start all the exercises and the physical exercises and, of course, all the sports medicine and the work in the hydrotherapy pool. Oh, they can help you get back to being you. Maybe you're recovering from some surgery or an accident, whatever the case might be. Call them. Make an appointment at 678-1191. I'm not kidding. They are the best. I swear by these people, and you will too. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. You get a hold of them today. I don't know how many of you had perhaps seen this guy on television before. But his voice, there's something about his voice that just antagonizes me and irritates me, and his name is Democratic Representative Brad Sherman. And as I said a moment ago, he's a very arrogant, self-serving individual that has appointed himself, I am the greatest and I will do this. He seems to know more about our Constitution, and this is himself redeeming himself, than possibly anyone, including the Supreme Court. And he, Brad Sherman, said he, Brad Sherman, will get Donald Trump impeached. Oh, this guy is extremely arrogant. And this holier-than-thou fool said Trump is hurting the presidency and the nation with a lack of knowledge. And I had to chuckle a little bit last night watching him on television again. And I thought, Sherman himself comes off as the real buffoon in this entire story. Now, the minimization, and think about what I'm saying here, folks, the minimization of us on the right, us as conservatives, us that want the Trump presidency to succeed for the betterment of the nation, we are being belittled. We're being called ignorant. We're being called, well, these people that support Trump, they just don't know. They don't understand. They're not elites like us. That's the attitude that people like Brad Sherman and others have. And this arrogancy that just makes your skin crawl, I know has got to come back and hurt them in 2018. There is no working together. There is no, let's build America. It's all, these silly, stupid little people in the heartland. What do they know? These little ants scurrying around trying to make a living and trying to save every dollar they can. They're not like us elites. We know better than they do. That's the pathetic attitude of people like Representative Brad Sherman. Caller, hang on, I'll be right there. I want to remind everybody about Autumn Haven. Oh, my goodness, wonderful people serving you and members of your family. I've been very blessed to have them on the air for a long, long time, and I thank them because I guarantee you they're located at 924 Christian Way in Rupert. Number to call, 436-3200. They are the only locally owned and operated assisted living facility in the Mini-Cassia area, and they make every effort, honestly, to make Autumn Haven the best place for your loved one. They're small compared to some, but with a bigger heart than most, and they really want you to come by and take a tour. Autumn Haven Assisted Living Center, 924 Christian Way in Rupert, 436-3200. Caller, you're on the air. Good morning.
Yes, good morning, Zeb. I could discuss the hearing, all this stuff. These guys on both sides of the aisle, like McConnell, Ryan, Pelosi, Schumer, don't care about the wreckage that they're leaving for our younger generation because of the hatred that they have for each other. I don't know why. They keep talking about impeaching Trump. Why the heck can't we re-impeach Schumer, who's one of our big troublemakers, or get rid of Ryan? If this stuff keeps up, our country is finished.
I agree with you. I mean, I've never seen so much animosity. I've never seen so much hatred. I've never seen a complete division like this in all my days. I totally agree with what you said. This has got to stop, but it's not going to. The left is on the freeway to heck. I'm going to clean up my act a little bit this morning. But they will not change.
Carnage going on in just about every city in this country right now.
I agree.
It's going to be impossible to stop it until we get to martial law or calling the National Guard out to protect our cities.
And it may come to that sooner than later. I agree with you, Tony. I am very concerned about this. I'm not just somebody trying to stir up emotions. I'm reporting the facts as they are. And I've got another story connected with this first one that absolutely chilled me when I heard about it yesterday, and I'm going to have that on the air next. And it's about another very stupid congressman from Maine. So, Tony, stay tuned. I'm going to get to that in just a second.
Oh, I will. Thank you, Zeb.
All right. God bless. Take care. We're going to have that story about really, I think, one of the dumbest men in Congress that I've ever heard about. He is a Democrat from Maine, and the guy absolutely should be doing nothing more than sweeping floors. He should not be a representative of the United States of America. We're going to have that right after I ask Wheels to play a great word for the Silver State Stampede.
Nevada's oldest rodeo. The Silver State Stampede roars into Elko July 13th, 14th, and 15th for family entertainment at its best. This PRCA rodeo brings you the thrill of professional riders going head-to-head in one of the world's toughest sports, rodeo. The action kicks off Thursday with the annual kickoff party featuring mutton busting, Old West bronc riding, tri-tip dinner for just $10, and an extra dose of the world-famous Ring of Fear. Head into Friday and Saturday for PRCA rodeo action with the award-winning Wild Child Rodeo Clown and dance the night away with the Jeff Palmer Band. So gather your friends and get your tickets today for the 2017 Silver State Stampede, July 13th through the 15th. And don't forget to wear your pink for Tough Enough to Wear Pink Night on Saturday. Family entertainment at its best with the 2017 Silver State Stampede at the Elko County Fairgrounds. You'll pay for the whole seat, but you'll only need the edge.
Oh, my goodness, good fun in Elko. Folks, this next story is so bad with the verbiage that State Representative Scott Hammond, Democrat from Portland, Maine, used. I had to delete on the copy that was sent to me this morning by Jake Blyberg that had written this story. In the Bangor Daily News, this story and the verbiage that was used is so bad I can't even make reference to it on the air. The words are some of the worst I've ever heard in my life. And what he did, in a nutshell, is go on a Facebook rant, which he said he would harm President Trump if given the chance. And you can fill in the blanks, but I'm going to say some of the statements that he made. Trump is a half-term president at most, especially if I ever get within 10 feet of that. And I'm not going to fill in that blank. So that sounds to me like a fairly direct threat to the President of the United States. Then this imbecile, a Democratic imbecile, writes that Trump was installed by the Russians. And he goes on and on about Trump supporters and Republicans. And he basically says that we're stupid and that the Trump crime family. And he blames Republicans for stymieing the former president and taunts supporters of the current one. And then he comes out and calls President Trump some very filthy names. And he said, you and your people are destroying America. And he said, listen to this quote, 100% of intelligent Americans agree that Trump is a complete loser. You know, tell me all the Republicans, tell me all the GOP members that you have heard use this kind of language against and threats against Barack Obama. I did not like Barack Obama. I despised the man. I did not like his politics. I did not like him personally. I thought his ideology was absolutely negative against this country and for what our Constitution stands for. But you never, on this program, heard any of the vile, filthy language that a Democrat representative used against Donald Trump. And when you make an implied death threat against the President of the United States, I hope that the Secret Service is knocking on his door. But then this imbecile, this buffoon that calls himself Scott Hammond from Maine, Democratic representative, when the information came out in the press about what he had said and what his feelings and words were about the president and Republicans, a person by the name of Keith Hansen on conservative radio back in Maine, which they're lucky to have at least a couple of conservative radio hosts back there, He used it. He went out and said it, and he mentioned, and it was all print anyway. It was all on Facebook about where this guy worked full time besides being a representative. And Hammond responded by saying that he would pursue legal action against the radio host if the statements hurt his career. And here's what he wrote. He said, and if anything negative comes from your attack on my employment, my attorney will be in touch. Cease and desist. This imbecile idiot from the Democratic Party caused the problem, said the words that were part of the problem, and then he's making threats to somebody else that just reports on factual news? Wow. And you think the Democrats haven't got problems, and they won't clean up their act. Whether it's Tom Perez, head of the DNC, or whether it's some little mouse like this, they will not clean up their act. What is the matter with them? What is the matter with these people? Somebody's got to call me and tell me, even on a local basis, they have the same mentality. They will cuss you behind your back. I know because they've done it to me many times. But they don't have the nerve to confront face-to-face or on the radio, even on a telephone call. I mean, oh, they're brave. Yeah, they'll hang up if you call them, and they'll never implement a call to call you. What is the matter with these people? Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Come on, mull that over and give me a call. I'd love to hear from you. While I have just a moment here waiting for your calls, Oakley is having a huge Pioneer Day event. Wow. And it starts tomorrow night with the bump and rub car race. Well, some of the merchants over there absolutely invite you to come to Oakley, including Clark's for Shopping, 100 East Main in Oakley. Oh, that's a hometown grocery store. And let me tell you something about these folks. They have that famous breakfast sausage from Grandma's recipe. I've had that, and it is the best. Underline that. Comes in bulk patties or links, and oh my goodness, what a great place to shop. And they welcome everybody to come on over and enjoy the great big Oakley Pioneer Days. Clark's for Shopping in Oakley. Along with Oakley Valley Stone, 204 West Main in Oakley. Number to call, 862-3450. And they really absolutely have the most beautiful rock for fireplaces and headstones for a loved one, landscaping outside. Oh, your place will look dynamic. And they can help you, and they will. So please get a hold of them today. Oakley Valley Stone, 204 West Main Street in Oakley. Wishing you would come over and celebrate Oakley Pioneer Days. By the way, quickly, and then I'll take some calls. Come on, give me a jingle. Don't sit there and relax. We have a short time period, and I want to get you in. Oakley Pioneer Days starts tomorrow night, the 14th, and goes all the way through the 22nd, with the theme this year, our Pioneer Heritage, Past, Present, and Future. And they are going to start on Friday and Saturday night with the 9th annual Bump and Rub Race. Oh, man, that is exciting to watch, let me tell you. And they're going to have team ropings and open rodeo on the 21st and 22nd, co-sanctioned with the IMPRA, and dances and fireworks and entertainment in the park, and oh boy, on the 22nd, what a parade. What a parade. At 11:30 in the morning, Pioneer Day Parade. All of this at the Oakley Pioneer Days in Oakley. Really fun times. All right, come on now, folks. There you go. Right on cue. Wheels, well done, my friend. Thank you very much. Caller, go ahead. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Bell.
Yes.
You know, the only way these ignoramus liberals, and I don't mean to call people names, but you know what? They're just stupid. All they do is whine and boo-hoo. What about all the actors that have threatened President Bush?
Yeah.
Nobody ever does anything about impeaching these senators and congressmen who, you know, literally threaten his life.
why are they not behind bars?
No, I want you to tell me why we're putting up with this. I want you to give me some concrete answers how to get rid of these people, because they absolutely should not be representing anybody here in the United States. Donna, the language, I don't know if you've read the story, but I have it here in entirety in front of me. I could not, and I've had to blank out, and I counted them during that little break a moment ago. I counted over 32 phrases and words that I couldn't possibly put on the radio that this absolutely dim-wit Democrat spouted off about injuring, hurting, or replacing the president. How did they get away with this? You tell me.
I wish I could, Zeb. I'm so fed up with it that, you call your senators and your congresspeople, and it's just like they don't hear that it's sent to deaf ears. If we had done half of what, when Obama got into office, there's a lot of us that didn't like him. I still don't like him. I think he needs to be behind bars. We need to send him to Gitmo. If we had said half of the things about Obama that they are saying about Trump, I think they'd be knocking on our door.
Absolutely. It's so low class, the language. And we all, maybe not those that think they're so perfect out in the audience, but we have all slipped, maybe by hitting a nail we missed and hit our thumb, and maybe have said some expletives that we're sorry for. I know I have many times, and I'm ashamed of some of my language, which I am attempting to clean up every day. But when you come out and you go into a tirade and you use words that absolutely are not socially acceptable in any way, shape, or form, and then you denigrate the American public when you say something like 100% of intelligent Americans agree that Trump is a complete loser, you're telling all the other people that voted for Trump they're very stupid, they're low quality, they don't know how to put their shoes on the right feet. I mean, boy, I'm offended by this guy. And quite frankly, it's that kind of a response from the Democrats and many more like him that just antagonizes me as a talk show host to go after them like a junkyard dog.
Well, I'm proud of the fact that you're my friend, and you do that. You do keep up with, what you believe in. You stand by your word. And, there's an old saying, and I don't know whether this applies to these idiots or not, but you never argue with an idiot because they're going to lower them. You're going to lower yourself to their standards, and they're going to beat your butt with experience. And, I really believe that's true. Because they just keep on getting away with all this trash that they're talking. They're acting like little schoolboy bullies, and I don't know. I don't know what it's gonna take to end their tirade. It's been a long enough time. They should have gotten over the fact that their candidate lost.
Yeah.
Because they're crooks and liars and cheats. Get over it. Pull your big boy boxers up and get on with life.
I saw something this morning that was very interesting. There was a panel of 8 moms from various backgrounds and ethnicities. And the 8 mothers were being interviewed about what's going on now with all this garbage and absolute misuse of time on Russian collusion and everything else. And almost all of the mothers agreed that it is so much more important right now to solidify America with a better economy and create a better future for our children to grow up in with a safer society. And not one of them really said anything about the Russian collusion being a big chunk on their plate.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, there are a lot more important things to be getting on with than Russia. I mean, if they did, they did. Prosecute them, get it over with, and let's move on to more important issues.
I agree.
The economy, our education, our... What else are we going to have to tolerate before they get down to the true issue?
Oh, please don't open the door for them. Thanks, Donna. God bless you. Have a good day. Thanks.
You too, my friend.
All right, thank you. Caller, I'll be right with you. Stand by. Do not go away. Barry Equipment and Rental, Sales, Service, and Parts. I think a lot of these folks, they've been with us for a long time on this program, and they have all the equipment to get the job done right. I'm telling you, they've got all the Bobcat excavators, new and used excavators for sale or rent, all shapes and sizes. You don't know how to run one? Well, don't fret. You can go over there and play with one in the sandbox behind their business at the Burley location. They'll teach you how to run it, and then you can come home, and I'm telling you, you're going to look like a pro. They've got all the equipment, like I said, to get the job done right. Retail equipment rentals and retail equipment sales. So stop in and see them on South Lincoln and Jerome, Addison Avenue West in Twin, and 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. The best. Barry Equipment and Rental. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zed. Well, one thing is they will not stop. They're not going to go on to any other agenda than to destroy Trump. And because Trump, he is not establishment. He's running roughshod like a bulldozer through a china closet over the elitist goal of a one-world government, meaning the climate change, the environmental stuff by putting somebody of reasonably in the EPA and cutting back funding, appointing conservative constitutionalists, the Supreme Court judge, and on and on. And so we don't hear about all of these kinds of things. But Zeb, they're not going to give up. I mean, he has done the unpardonable sin of getting in the road of the New World Order to create this utopian slave camp for most of us, and the elitists being in charge.
Yeah.
And if you read the book Tragedy and Hope by Carol Quigley, who was Bill Clinton's mentor, that's exactly what they're planning to do, and it doesn't make any difference whether the Republicans are in charge or the Democrats.
Yeah, listen to me a minute. Wait, whoa, Adrian, wait a minute. Let me in here a minute. Let me in. I want to say something, and I want to get your response to this because I don't know your feelings, but I was asked yesterday by a good friend what my thoughts were about fledgling people getting into politics that don't have a clue, and I said, you know what? I love it. I love to see more of the Donald Trumps get involved. And there's a rock singer and kind of a rapper, Kid Rock. Everybody's heard of Kid Rock. And he's 46 years old, and he's very much considering making a run for politics. And I urge him to do so because I am so sick of the three-piece suit, wingtip shoes attitude of Mitch McConnell and Schumer and the others. What are your thoughts? I'd like to see more common people get in there.
Well, you know what? Here's the big problem. I agree. I totally agree with you. But I'll take our local situation with Congressman Simpson. I know some good people that have tried to run against him, people that would bring back constitutional voting. But U.S. Chamber of Commerce comes in with a potload of cash and to run ads against the opposition, and they got all the money. And that even applies to local politics that I'm aware of, too.
Yeah.
The people that want to run to replace perhaps more liberal Republicans have the same problem.
Yeah.
Once they get in there, they're almost impossible to get out. I used to be against term limits, but I'm beginning to think that maybe that's the only way we get people like Simpson out of there, and DeFazio and Oregon and so forth. But there's a real negative part of that as well. But anyway, we don't. What they're also, to answer your question, it's just very difficult for a novice to come in and unseat a politician that's been in there for decades, literally, in many cases.
Well, let me jump in here and say something, Adrian. Hold on just a second. Let's not forget that when this country was a baby, and this country was being founded and set up and organized, Every single one of those people that were working hard for this United States were all brand spanking new, and they didn't have a clue. They were relying upon each other's ability for certain things and how to set this up and how to set that up. And we did it once. We can do it again. Quickly, because I've got to go to a commercial real fast.
Here's the solution. We need to get back to the principles in the Declaration of Independence and the U.S. Constitution.
Yeah.
We get back to those founding documents and have people run on that. Congressman Larry McDonald, very conservative. He was the president, became president of the John Birch.
Real fast, Adrian. Go fast.
He was a Democrat. He was a Democrat.
Right.
But he went out and taught in his district the people about constitutional government, and he was reelected, and they finally got him on a plane and killed him, I guess, on Korean Airlines 007.
Yeah,
anyway, there's a lot of mystery to that, but it is a problem. But people, we need to get back to those basic things that made this country great. And Trump is trying to do some of that. He's not a real constitutionalist, but he's making some progress, much more than the old establishment time.
I agree. Thanks, Adrian. I got to run to a commercial. Thank you so much. God bless. Thank you. Thank you. Calls welcome 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Ag Express is looking for drivers. That's right. And I'll tell you what, they need full and part-time positions. These are really good people to work for. Very nice people. And retired folks are welcome to apply, and they'll work around your schedule 2 or 3 days a week, whatever works best for you. And you're using new and maintained equipment, and you're home every night. That's the key right there. You're home every night. And they've got vacation schedules and benefit programs. What are you waiting for? Call Dale and Paul at 438-8886. Or Alan in Twin Falls at 731-2495, and Chad and Burley at 670-7219. Ag Express is looking for drivers. Ag Express is looking for you. Caller, you're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning, Zeb. You know, Joe Scarborough, I thought would be the first one on your list because he's going to leave the Republican Party, which I don't know when he was ever there. But there was about 3 or 4 of that flashed through my mind, like Joe Scarborough and Chris Matthews, Tim Kaine. You know, I can just name so many that are dead set against Trump's succession.
Well, wait a minute, Keith. You can see what's happening to Joe Scarborough. He's marrying a very avowed liberal, Mika Brzezinski from MSNBC. They've sat there in the morning and had coffee together for many years, and now, of course, he's being led by the nose to kind of follow her to the liberal altar. And it's not hard to understand why he's a turncoat. I mean, the guy's got to watch out for his own self-interest, man.
Well, I can remember when he was first elected to the Congress. He was from Tallahassee, Florida, and he was a breath of fresh air, just like Hanson was when he went for Idaho. But they got in there and they beat him up so bad that pretty soon he just said no more. He only served 1 term in the U.S. Congress because it was that bad. And then he gets on this show and just inch by inch, they've made him into the worst person in the world.
I agree. Keith, always look forward to having your insight in the morning. Thank you. God bless. I got to go to a weather forecast, but thanks much for your call. Thank you, my friend. Weather's next, but before I go, I want to just say this. When I pick up news stories and my lovely wife, and we start this thing at about 4:30 in the morning, we get up and start researching stories and finding out the gist of the stories and all the facts and everything. And when I have a complete story on a guy, I just can't even imagine what I would act like if I met this man. A state representative from Maine, Scott Hammond, Democrat, that used, like I said a moment ago, some of the filthiest and uncivil language that I've ever heard, and threatened the president, called the rest of us stupid. I am, and I'm going to say this before I go to the weather, I am sick and tired of the disrespect from Democrats with their whining, their losing, their cursing, and their frothing at the mouth attitude that absolutely is derogative and denigrating our great country of this United States. When are they going to learn to get their head and their mouth out of the gutter and try to do better? Weather forecast coming up next, and it's sponsored by Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. You know, hearing is just, we take it for granted. And if you've noticed a diminishment in your hearing, I urge you, please, to get a hold of Dr. Christine Pickup and make an appointment. Go over there and say, well, this, that, and the other, I'm having trouble hearing this, and take a hearing screening. It might be because of a heart condition. It might be because of kidney health. It might be because of diabetes or medicine that you're taking. Please, I'm urging you to give her a call and make an appointment. Excuse me. The number to call, 312-0957, across from the Minidoka Hospital Emergency Room, Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Please make that appointment today. And right now, here's Gina with the weather.
We are still in that red flag warning. It is going to be in effect through the weekend and probably extended until Mother Nature gives us some moisture. I don't know if that's going to be happening anytime soon, as this high-pressure system is still sticking around. For today, we are looking at sunny to partly cloudy skies, a little bit on the breezy side, winds out of the southeast, 5 to 10 miles an hour. High of 94 tonight, partly cloudy skies, low of 60. Tomorrow, partly cloudy skies, high of 94 with an overnight low of 61. Getting close to the triple-digit mark for Saturday. That is your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
Oh, thank you very much. Couldn't figure out why the dog was barking so much, and I had to yell for Goober to tell me what's going on out there. I understand I got somebody looking at my tractor. Anyhow, don't forget Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Number to call for an appointment, 312-0957. Right across from the Minidoka Hospital Emergency Room. You'd better get that hearing screening today. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Let's see what else have we got for stories here this morning. There is a satanic monument. This, another one of those stories that just makes the back of my neck, the hair stand up. A satanic monument is being placed in a veterans park in Belle Plaine, Minnesota. Now, family members, wives, other family members are just absolutely outraged by this. Because here they have a veterans park, and in the middle of the park, they have a kneeling soldier with his helmet off, praying by the side of a grave. It's a veterans park. Well, the Satanists, they couldn't live with that. So they approached the city council in Belle Plaine, Minnesota, and they said, you either take it down or you let us come in and in this Veterans Park put up a satanic monument. And the city council was in a quandary. And at first they were going to bulldoze the soldier kneeling by the grave. And then they thought, no, we'll go ahead and have a free speech zone in the park and allow the Satanists to put up their monument. I know what I'd have done, folks, and it's about time we get back to this. Majority rules. Put it to a vote. Put it to the vote of the city, the small town of Belle Plaine, Minnesota. Put it to a vote and see if they, the residents, want a satanic monument in their Veterans Park. If the majority, and it would show, they don't want them there, then tell them to get out of town and not come back. What happened to majority rule in this country? What happened to the voices that are supposed to be heard in the majority? They're being erased by the absolute stupid, vile left minority in this country, and we don't stand up to these people. What's going on? What is going on that we can't stand up and say, no, we don't want them in our city park. We don't want that satanic monument here. It's not representative of our feelings and our area and our thoughts towards our veterans. Get out of Dodge. The majority voice in this country has lost time after time because of little minority voices that are being listened to more than the majority in this country. Give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. In many instances, I wish I could be the head of a city council like Belle Plaine, Minnesota, and just tell these Satanists, you know what, boys? We're going to put it to a vote. Majority wins, minority loses. Put your tail between your legs and head down Highway 54 and don't look back. We've lost our courage in this country to stand up for what is right and tell the wrong they better get out of Dodge City. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Don't forget our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations here in the Magic Valley serving you. You know, serving really is the great word because, man, you drive in there and, well, I got a little trouble with my brakes. All right, they've got the best in trained technicians to take care of that problem and get you back on the road. Well, I got a little trouble. I got a bald tire on my right side. Well, okay, they know all about the different tires. They know all about tireology, what's going to best befit your driving needs. And the brake, like I said, the brake service, front end alignment, shocks and struts, the batteries, yes, they want you to get where you're going this summer safely. Stop in and see Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family and Paul, Daniel on Poline and Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland and Burley. The best. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. What are your thoughts? I mean, do we just roll over in all instances and say, oh, well, one person filed a complaint, one person or 2 people, they want this done. Well, the 98 others out of 100, they don't, but their voices are not heard. What in the world is the matter here? This is nuts. Oh, by the way, I stand up and I say a salute to Peyton Manning, former outstanding NFL quarterback. Why? This isn't a sports story per se. It's about him and his personality. The liberal left, the media in general, the news, ESPN and others, oh, they were all upset at Peyton Manning. You know why? Because he played a round of golf with President Trump. Oh, my goodness, how terrible. Peyton Manning, what's the matter with you? Trump is the devil. You can't go play golf with him. Why, you're going to lose your career. We're going to ostracize you. And when asked why he did it, he said, you know what? When the President of the United States asks you to play golf with him or do any other chore, it would be un-American to turn him down. Peyton said he's glad he did it, so they're left. Go sit in the corner, tear your hair out, wring your hands. Enough. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb. You know, I've got to tell you, you're wrong on your math.
Easy, Jerry.
It isn't 1 in 100. It isn't 1 in 100,000. It isn't 1 in 1.2 million. It's usually higher distances than that. And when we use a figure like 1 in 100, we're making it look very minuscule against the people that want to do this kind of crap. It's 1 in about 2.3 million people.
No, Jerry.
And everybody else.
Jerry, wait a minute. You misunderstood the premise of why I said that. Belle Plaine, Minnesota is a very small town. My numbers of saying, wait a minute, please, Jerry, please. 1 in 100 was the number that I used for the fact that this is a very small town. I understand what you're saying, but of course, please understand my point.
Well, I'm just saying that we need to make it look like what it is.
No, I only tell the truth.
However many people are there that are opposed to it.
Well, I'm only going to deal with the numbers and the facts, Jerry. I'm not going to inflate numbers or destroy the truth.
Just use the population.
Well, Belle Plaine, Minnesota is a very small town, and hundreds actually befits that better than millions, and that's the way the story will stay.
Well, then let's go with hundreds, but let's don't do it 1 in 100.
Well, okay, I'll let you write my news stories from now on.
I won't do that because I haven't got the intelligence. I have to rely on young kids like you that are far more intelligent than me.
I wouldn't say that, but I do appreciate your call, my dear friend, and you have a blessed weekend. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and the only reason I did that is to let people out there know that when you say 1 in 100, it isn't 1 in 100. It's 1 in however many people live there that are opposed to it. And usually it's 990% of the population, whatever it is. Even if it's 14, it's still, 14 against and 1 for.
Okay, Jerry. Well, I'm glad you got our numbers all straightened out. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I got to run to the news right now from CBS, and we're going to take a little break, come back with the Chamber Report, and then, of course, it's time to grow with Tony McCammon. Don't go away, Zeb at the Ranch. I'll be right back. Oh, my goodness sakes. Good morning. Zeb at the Ranch, broadcasting from America, the best country in the world. Absolutely. I'm Zeb Bell, and our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you, along with some of our great advertisers like Western Waste Services.
From the canyons of the Snake River and all across southern Idaho, we're always at your disposal. Western Waste Services, we care about our community, our resources, and this great land. Western Waste Services is lending a hand, always at your disposal. Western Waste Services.
Oh, and a good morning to those good folks at Western Waste Services. They really care. If you have not called them and asked to get on their route service, I urge you to do so, and it's so easy. Call 734-6969. They are always at your disposal and waiting to serve you, very loyal to the community and the people that they serve. Call them today. Western Waste Services, 734-6969. We're going to go to the Chamber of Commerce report in just a moment, but real quick, I also want to remind you about our dear friend, Dr. Bill and the crew over at Ark Animal Hospital, 750 21st Street, and that's in Hayburn. Number to call, 678-1177. They do have the warm hearts for the cold noses. They've been voted again Minnecache's best veterinary hospital. I bit my tongue. Veterinary hospital sounds better that time. For multiple times. And I'll tell you what, they want to remind you, summertime, heat, cars, windows up. Please don't leave your pets in parked cars. No. Ark Animal Hospital is a mixed animal practice, meaning big or small, they love them all and will help you with any of your animal problems. Ark Animal Hospital in Hayburn, 678-1177. Let's go to the phone line right now, and the lovely Kyla with the Chamber of Commerce. Good morning.
She hasn't been able to call in. I tried calling the Minnecache Chamber, and they said that she has not made it into work this morning.
Well, now, my goodness, we have a little problem here. So I'll tell you what, I'll take some time for outside calls right now. Maybe she'll be calling in momentarily, and I'll run some commercials, and you let me know if she pops on the line, okay?
Yes, sir.
Attaboy. Thank you. Also, want to remind you, as I look down at my list, I'll tell you what, Wheels, let's have this good word for the Silver State Stampede, and we'll see if she calls. Thank you.
Nevada's oldest rodeo. The Silver State Stampede roars into Elko July 13th, 14th, and 15th for family entertainment at its best. This PRCA rodeo brings you the thrill of professional riders going head-to-head in one of the world's toughest sports, rodeo. The action kicks off Thursday with the annual kickoff party featuring mutton busting, Old West bronc riding, tri-tip dinner for just $10, and an extra dose of the world-famous Ring of Fear. Head into Friday and Saturday for PRCA rodeo action with the award-winning Wild Child Rodeo Clown and dance the night away with the Jeff Palmer Band. So gather your friends and get your tickets today for the 2017 Silver State Stampede, July 13th through the 15th. And don't forget to wear your pink for Tough Enough to Wear Pink Night on Saturday. Family entertainment at its best with the 2017 Silver State Stampede at the Elko County Fairgrounds. You'll pay for the whole seat, but you'll only need the end.
All righty, thank you. Good time in Elko this weekend. By the way, I know something else is coming up that you want to put on your list, and that's going to be July 28th and 29th, the Idaho Rodeo Hall of Fame induction service, and that's going to be at the Canyon Crest Event Center. Now, on the Friday night 28th, we're going to have a special kind of a party. It's Tough Enough to Wear Pink Night, and a percentage of the proceeds goes to breast cancer awareness with St. Luke's Foundation. It's a $10 entry fee, and boy, have we got a lot of door prizes and fun for that night. And don't forget, that's the 28th at Canyon Crest. And then on Saturday night, the induction ceremony for the Idaho Rodeo Hall of Fame, starting at 5 p.m. with the social hour, dinner at 6. Tickets are $25, and we're going to be inducting the great legend of rodeo here in the state of Idaho, Dean Oliver. So don't miss it, along with many others. That's going to be on Friday, the 28th and 29th, and tickets are available by calling Katie at the Canyon Crest at 733-9322. And our thanks to our sponsors, D.L. Evans Bank. Oh, they've been so helpful to us. We really appreciate it. And Tech Distributing, your Coors dealer. Thank you so much. Wheels, did she call in?
No, she hasn't.
Boy,
I haven't heard anything
we're
yet.
kind of lonesome this morning. What about somebody else over at the chamber? Did they say they'd go on the air with us?
I'm not sure. I did think about trying to get Jackie on the air.
Whoop, wait a minute. There's the phone. Take it quickly. Here, let's see what we have here quick. And see if this call is for us. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Maybe. Let's try it again. Wheels, are they there?
Yes, sir. Give me one.
No, I haven't got a second. Let's go real fast. Are you there, caller? Good morning.
Well, hi, Zeb. It's Kyla. How are you doing?
Ooh, we've only got about 2.5 minutes, Kyla, so real fast. What's cooking over there?
Oh, my goodness. We have had tons and tons of visitors coming into the visitor center, so people are definitely checking out the Mini-Kaza area, and that's just awesome. And then I just wanted to let you know we've got everything. We've got, literally 5 or 6 pages of events. And so just get on minikazachamber.com. That's going to be the easiest way to find out everything that's coming up on the calendar.
Okay, now, you say you've got a lot of visitors coming in. What about special events? I've got a minute and a half left about any special events coming up in the next couple of weeks.
Oh, goodness. Well, I know we've had a lot of calls for people getting ready for, the big Oakley Days, and that's going to be coming up not this weekend, but next weekend. But they are taking all the parade requests. So if you want to get in the parade, get online, minikazachamber.com. We've got the telephone number right there. There's a couple of them. And give them a call. Obviously, you don't want to wait to the last minute on that one. So please go ahead and give them a call as soon as possible.
Well, actually,
most of the phone calls we've been getting lately at the chamber.
Actually, a lot of their festivities do start this weekend up in Oakley with the Bump and Rub car race starting Friday night and Saturday night.
Yes, but we've had tons and tons of calls. People want to get in that parade, and they've been calling the chamber. And so the parade is actually not until next week, but
right.
Definitely just give them a call. And the Bump and Rub, are you going to do that, Ben?
I wanted to get a car entered this year, but because of all the surgeries and the knee and the hip replacement, doctors looked at me and said, "Are you crazy?" And I said, "Possibly," and then they said no.
Oh, I think that's probably a wise idea. Well, I can't wait to see it. I just love the name of it. I think it's hilarious. So this is going to be a lot of fun this weekend.
Well, for more information, they can contact the Chamber of Commerce for all the activities coming up in this area. And, Kyla, what's the number and the easiest way to get a hold of you?
Give us a call, 208-679-4793.
Thank you. Kyla at the Minnecasia Chamber of Commerce, thank you very much. And we're going to be going over to our next guest momentarily, and that's Tony McCammon with It's Time to Grow. Stand by for that. But I also want to remind you about our friends at Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World. My goodness, they're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturdays, 9 to 4. They've got all your watercraft cool off on the rivers and the lakes this summer, all the four-wheelers, the side-by-sides, but also they've got all the accessories, great big accessory department, and of course a service department that can keep you running. Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24, like I said, between Rupert and the World, where the fun is sold. Right now it's time to Grow with Tony McCammon from the University of Idaho Horticulture Department. That's a mouthful. University of Idaho has some really good people, and he is one of them. Good morning, Tony McCammon. How are you?
Good morning to you, Zeb. Thanks for having me on.
I understand that you're over in Portland right now, right?
I am, yeah. We're at the International Master Gardener Conference, which I am the chairman of that committee. And we're having a great time. I've met people from Toronto and South Korea and England, as well as Maryland, Florida, Arizona. Some great people down here. I taught a class yesterday, but it really wasn't a class. I did a game show, and it was just an absolute blast.
Well, I can imagine everybody that goes to the convention. I read some of the brochure, and they have to show up at registration desk carrying a hoe and a shovel. Is that correct?
Not exactly, but they're coming from all over the place, and we're just a good, happy group of people. Went to a movie showing last night of all these insects and kind of the insect kingdom, and the oohs and the ahs from the audience. I knew I had found my tribe. It was just absolute fun. Sitting in with all these avid gardeners.
You knew you had found your tribe. I love that. Hey, Tony, real quick, for the benefit of our great sponsors of this segment, tell us who is bringing this to everybody on the radio.
Yes, Southern Idaho Landscapes, which is my program. You can check us out on Facebook. We also have Monty's Landscape and Turf Plant Food. You can find their products at D&B's around the valley, as well as certain outsources. So you might give me a call, and I can get you in touch with them. Also, Sears and Burley. Sears and Burley has sponsored this program through the last couple weeks. And Minnecasia Master Gardener Association and the Magic Valley Master Gardener Association. My Master Gardeners are always very supportive of my program, so I really appreciate them.
Now, how many people attend a function like you're at up in Portland? I mean, you said it's worldwide. How many are there?
We have almost 1,300, just over 1,250.
Oh, my goodness. Now, I would imagine that many of the topics that you cover may be about our lawns during the summertime. With the heat that we've had here, I've noticed my lawn, and I take a lot of pride in my lawn. It's starting to turn various shades of green. Why?
All right, well, That goes to the type of turf grass that you have. Most turf grasses in the Magic Valley are more than I think probably 90% of them are Kentucky bluegrass lawns. There are a couple tall fescue lawns, but either way, they're all cool season grasses. Cool season means they grow best during the cool seasons of the year. So your springtime, we have really good lush grass, right? And we're mowing once a week, if not more, if we're fertilizing. And then once it gets hot, it kind of slows down, and it starts to turn colors when it gets hot outside. That's a natural process of that grass, which doesn't grow well during the warm season, to kind of go dormant.
Uh-huh. Okay, now we've got a caller with a question at that point, so let's take the caller quickly. You're on the air.
Okay, Zeb, Tony, I'd like to ask or make a suggestion on your Master Gardener programs. I've noticed most of them are through the week and the daytime. Us guys who work through the week and that, if there's possibilities of having mini ones on weekends or something? And I appreciate everything you're doing, and I listen to you pretty regular, so learning stuff. So thank you.
All right, we'll have Tony respond to that. What about that? Some midweeks type meetings on that, Tony?
Yeah, we have our midweek meetings, and most of them are either in the morning or the afternoon. I do rotate an evening class. It was in Burley a few years ago, Twin Falls last year. This year, I think I'm going to move it up into maybe Haley, and then it'll be back into the Burley, Rupert area. So I do have a night class that I rotate through. As far as weekend classes, those are really hard on me and my family. And so I usually try to stay away from weekend classes because that takes into vacation time and other things with my family. So, but I hear you, and we've had that response, and that's why I started doing more night classes, at least rotating it through, so I can reach out to that particular audience. So thanks for your call.
Tony, let me ask you this. Like I said, I really babysit my lawn. My wife and I are very proud to have a nice-looking yard. But can we over-babysit it? Yes. Actually, just last week I was at a call and at a landscape, and the lady was talking about she just can't bear to mow the lawn on her riding lawnmower because everywhere she goes, she sees more work to be done, and she has to get out, and it takes her forever to mow the lawn because she starts going, and she has to get off the lawnmower and start pulling weeds, and then she gets back on the lawnmower, and then another 20 yards down the way, she has to get off again and do some more work. And I said, we weren't asked to be lord over our landscapes. We were just asked to be stewards, and so that's kind of my mentality is we need to kind of step back and look at it more from being a good steward, contributing to the ecosystem, asking the landscape, kind of looking around and saying, okay, how can I help you do the things that you need to do? Because you have insects and you have biological bacterias and funguses that are doing work for you, whether you are able to see them or not. They're there. And so you have this whole ecosystem working. And sometimes we over prep, we overwork, we over input into our landscapes, and we fret about it, and we really don't take the time to really just enjoy it and sit back and look at the paper wasps that and the spiders and the ants and not look at them as a pest or a nuisance or anything, but more as you're just part of the ecosystem. Thank you for being here. Wow. I mean, now I'm going to go out and I'm really going to commune with nature after this program.
Good. I thought I could teach you something today.
But, what about overwatering? In the heat of the months right now, we're seeing summer. I love summer. Okay, let's not gripe and complain about the heat. It's a part of our culture. It's a part of our way of life and everything. It's summertime. But what about overwatering?
Oh, yeah, definitely. And in fact, when we're talking about lawns, that is 90% of the problem. No matter if you have a disease or an insect, it usually comes back to improper watering practices. We use 60% of the water, potable water that comes into our home in our landscapes, and about 90% of that goes into lawn care. That's a huge percentage. And I mean, I did my master's in water conservation, so this is kind of close to home here. But, turf grass watering, you should, even in the heat of the summer, yes, your lawn is going to change colors, but that is the natural process of the lawn. You should be watering 3 times a week. If you have rotors, you should be in the 40 to 45-minute range. If you have pop-up sprinklers, you should be in the 15 to 20-minute range. That's just because of the gallons per minute that those different sprinkler heads put off. So 3 times a week. And each irrigation, 45 minutes on your rotors, 20 to 25 minutes on your pop-ups. And that will give you enough precipitation to fill the root zone of your lawn. Any more than that is wasteful.
Okay. Now, what about the bad little boogers underneath the ground? I mean, are there some bad dudes down there that are trying to kill our lawns?
Yes, and right now a lot of people are dealing with bill bug, and they're not really dealing with it. They're already gone. But what happened was in the mid-May, they came out and started feeding on the crown of your grass. They fed on about a third of the crown of the grass in these hot patches, southwest-facing slopes around your driveways and walkways. Those are the areas where the bill bug like to hang out. Really sunny locations, hot locations. But they come out, they feed on the grass. They eat about a third of the crown of the grass, which is the most important part of the grass. And then they drop into the soil and feed on the root system of your lawn for about another week and a half, 2 weeks, and then they start pupating. Well, they start pupating around June 15th, June 20th. And at that point, obviously, it got really hot. And when the grass gets really hot, it goes from especially this grass that is, a third percent alive, they just start turning brown really quick. And it's not getting enough water in order to keep it green. So it goes dormant very quickly and eventually dies because it's just not getting enough nutrients to keep it, to have a sustainable growth on it.
Well,
and then you can go out, actually, if you have these brown patches in your lawn right now, you could go out, and if you tug on those brown patches and they come out of the ground without really very much of a tug at all, that's bill bug damage, and you can actually see the gnawing of those crowns, and even frass, which is a really cool way of saying insect poop. But that's bill bug, and right now there's nothing you can do about it other than try to keep your grass alive and rejuvenate those areas, putting sod in those areas or reseeding. Usually the middle of August or late August, you'll start reseeding those areas.
So every year
right now, those insects are pupating, and there's no insecticide in the world that's going to kill those.
Huh.
And so as we get into next spring, now have problems in those areas. Then you might look at some insecticides that you can put down May 15th. But just when I went to this lady's yard, we were looking at bill bug damage, and she said, I just had them sprayed. And I was like, oh, you just had them sprayed. That did absolutely nothing.
Oh, my.
You may have killed some of the late bloomers, maybe 10% of the bill bug, but the bill bug damage was already done, and that's why you're seeing the damage.
Wow.
So bill bug's a big one. Frog's eye disease or summer patch is a fungus that affects grass because of overwatering. So once again, we go back to overwatering as one of the culprits.
Man, oh man, there's so much to learn about lawns. Do you have, and I've only got a minute left here, Tony, but do you have a pamphlet through the University of Idaho so that people can read about this and understand more?
You bet we do. You're welcome to give me a call, 734-9590, or email me at tonym@uidaho.edu, and I'd be happy to email you that PDF.
All right, real quick, give us a list of all our sponsors one more time.
You bet. Southern Idaho Landscapes and Gardens. That's my personal Facebook page for the Master Gardener program. And Monty's Landscape and Turf Plant Food. Sears and Burley, Minnecash Master Gardener Association, Magic Valley Master Gardener Association. I really appreciate all our sponsors sponsoring us through the last couple months.
I can hear the shovels clanging in the background and people yelling, "We want Tony, we want Tony," so I better let you go.
All right, that sounds good.
Tony McCammon, University of Idaho horticulturalist, thank you. It's time to grow. Excellent program. Thank you much. Excellent. Right now, see you, Tony. He's gone. Okay. Hey, don't forget Autumn Haven Assisted Living Center at 924 Christian Way in Rupert. And the telephone number to call, 436-3200. Maybe you have a loved one in your family that needs that little extra help. Well, this is an excellent place for them to stay. And they, Autumn Haven, invites you to stop by and see their facility anytime. Take a tour, learn a lot more about them. They make every effort to make Autumn Haven the best place. They are the only locally owned and operated assisted living facility in the Minnecash area, and they're small compared to some, but boy, with a bigger heart than most. Autumn Haven Assisted Living Center, 924 Christian Way in Rupert. Also, as you've heard me say many, many times, Ag Express is looking for drivers. That's right, they're looking for drivers, full and part-time positions, and you're home every night. I love that. Man, I'll tell you what, I'm sick of traveling. Well, you're home every night. You can work 2 or 3 days a week, whatever works best for you. They've got great vacation programs, benefit programs, 401k plans. Yeah, you better call them today. Call Dale and Paul at 438-8886, Allen in Twin Falls, 731-2495, and Chad and Burley at 670-7219. Ag Express is looking for drivers. Ag Express is looking for you. Don't forget, I want to reemphasize that Lunch Bunch will be next Thursday, the 20th. Don't forget that. Next Thursday, the 20th at 11:30, Lunch Bunch. And we're certainly looking forward to having you there. By the way, too, we want to remind you about our friends Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. All your life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits by people that are really dedicated and responsive to your needs. That's right, they're accessible and really want to help you. So call them today and make an appointment. 436-4424. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. You make that call today. Every Thursday, we have a young lady that comes on our program, and we discuss politics, and she has a lot of good opinions about what should be done and not be done in politics. Good morning, Rita Ramsey. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good, thank you.
Rita, I've had enough. I'm done with it. I can't stand any more of it. I don't want to hear any more of it. I'm talking about this Russian collusion. Nothing has been proved in 7.5 months. I call it Russian delusion instead of collusion. I think the Democrats are absolutely beating a drum out of a band that left a long time ago. I'm sick of it.
Well, if there's something to it, it'd be a whole different story. The big problem is they haven't been able to prove anything, and they don't have anything concrete, so they just keep bumping up and making things up and adding things and saying, oh, by the way, and just trying to keep it alive. They're just trying to breathe air into it, and nothing's happening. But what my big question is, okay, so if there's something wrong, there's something wrong, and we don't condone wrong stuff, but just give us the proof. But, you know, we remember the press, clear back dating probably even prior to this, but you look at Clinton, and there was a lot of things happened in the Clinton era that the press just absolutely dismissed. Remember the aspirin factory bombing?
Yep.
The Lewinsky matter,
yep.
The Jennifer Flowers thing?
Yep.
And then remember Sandy Berger when he was taking, things out of the archives, and nothing was said about that. And then we started in with Fast and Furious in the Obama administration, the IRS thing, and the deal with Iran, and Benghazi, and Hillary's emails, and all of that kind of stuff. And the press was just mute on it. They didn't want to say a thing. So they just jump on everything related with Trump, and they gave all of the others, big passes. So that's the part that just bugs me, is there's a darn double standard there. And as long as it's their party, they'll ignore it, and when it isn't, they'll just try to make anything of it they can.
What you said a minute ago was a very good kind of an itemization of the stupidity of the Democrats and how they got away with it because they were aided and abetted by a media that absolutely is in the tank with them.
Oh, absolutely, and that's the part that just makes you crazy, and I don't understand why people, well, I do. And this is the part that bugs me the worst, is that people won't get informed so that they know when they're being lied to.
You mentioned about Sandy Berger and the others and about stealing records out of the archives stuffed in his pants. And now, let's just change this for a second. Let's say that some story came up about Donald Trump Jr. meeting with a Russian, whether it's that lawyer or whatever, and came out of the meeting with a bunch of papers stuffed in his pants. Why, the media and the liberals in Hollywood be about 10 feet off the ground and looking for somebody to hit.
Well, absolutely. And the thing that they won't tell you regarding all of this is, okay, so he met with this person who was she really linked to the Kremlin? Okay, so how did she get into this country?
Yeah.
The DOJ for the Obama administration let her in for extenuating circumstances. It was like, okay, we'll hurry and hustle you right to the front, because they thought that she was going to be able to give them information that would help their cause for Hillary.
Yep.
Not because they wanted to get Trump stuck in some kind of a thing that they'd bring out after he was president.
You know, wait a minute. Stop for a second, Rita, and just answer this for me. The left is all bent saying that there was Russian collusion. Well, whoa. When you stop and think about it, look at what it would have done to aid and abet Russia if Hillary would have won. Our military would have been decimated even more. Our energy prices would have skyrocketed, and the supply would have been a lot less. That's exactly what Russia wanted. They didn't want Trump, so where's the collusion?
Well, and that's just the irony of the whole thing, is they let them in. They tried to collude and do all kinds of things with the Russians, hoping that it would be to their advantage. And when it wasn't, it's all right, we're just going to keep this quiet. And then all this other starts coming out several months after he's the president, and they're trying to make it look like that the Trump team, whether it was Trump or Trump Jr. or whoever, was colluding with the Russians and causing this, and this is the way that they won. Well, the Democrats were the ones who brought him in. The Democrats who were keeping quiet because they were trying to see if they couldn't do something. And all of that was going on, and the Obama administration knew it. They condoned it. They invited it. But, no, the media is not talking about that.
Exactly.
The media is saying, oh, by the way, it was the Department of Justice for President Obama that let the lawyer in so that she could meet with him, or before she met with him, because they were hoping that there would be something for them.
I want to talk just a moment about and I mentioned it in the first hour if you were listening, the filthiness, the cursing, the whining, the frothing at the mouth by the Democratic Party, and the absolute filthiness of Maine Representative Scott Heyman, a Democrat from Portland, Maine, and what he said in a diatribe against the Trump administration and Trump personally. The phrases I can't even use on the radio, and that's not just an isolated case. What's the matter with these people?
It's ridiculous, and it's like the lady that called in when you were talking about that, and she said, you know what, they need to put on their big boy clothes and just get with it and go on with life, because they lost. It's not going to change anything. And the part about him doing a diatribe like that, I hope that the Republicans, if there are any up in his neck of the woods, will put that on film and on re-election advertisements, showing what kind of a person he really is, and hopefully people will see him for, he is not who we want to represent us, because that's really pathetic. But if those people continue to re-elect him and people like him, that doesn't show very well for the people in his district.
No, but there was one sentence of his filthy diatribe that hit me the most, and I want to relate it to you and get your response. 100% of intelligent Americans agree that Trump is a complete loser. So, if we voted for Trump, according to the elitists like this man, a self-proclaimed elitist, we are like knuckle draggers that are not smart enough to come in out of the rain. Boy, I'll tell you, this man has a great penchant for offending, just like Hillary and Schumer and everybody else. Why in the world can't the American public see that Democrats are nothing more but a bunch of whining losers?
Well, I don't know, but I do know this, and that is that if anybody believes him for saying that 100% of Americans are against Trump, this guy is pretty delusional, and so are they, because, excuse me, but I think Trump was the one elected, and he was elected because he got the most electoral votes, and there was a huge, big part of America that voted for Trump. So for him to say 100% or even 50% is, he's just an idiot. That's all there is to it.
And one other thing he said, that if Rita Ramsey or Zeb Bell or anyone else said in passing or a diatribe on the radio, he said Trump is a half-term president at most, especially if I ever get within 10 feet of that expletive. That's a direct threat on, I think, the life of the president and his well-being. The Secret Service should be camped on his doorstep this morning.
Well, they really ought to, but, all Democrats have to do is say, oh, I'm sorry, I guess I was just kind of, taken by the moment, so I'm sorry, I apologize, and it all goes away. And last night, he apologized at 10:50 p.m., so that absolutely nobody could see it. Then he runs an apology, but then he starts, on with these diatribe again, so it really wasn't an apology, but they can say anything they want and do anything they want with no consequences. You let a Republican say something like that, and he'll be herded right out of town wherever he's a representative.
And go along with this story also as kind of an adjacency story to what we're talking about. I have seen the person I'm going to talk to you about many, many times on the radio, and I find him to be, and I said this first hour, a very arrogant, self-serving individual by the name of Democrat Representative Brad Sherman. He has appointed himself kind of a judge, jury, and executioner, and almost like a godlike figure. He said, I am going to take down Donald Trump. I am going to make sure that he's impeached. This guy is a buffoon.
Well, he'll have to have a ton of other people on board with him because he isn't going to be able to do it by himself. He doesn't have enough credibility. And even though the media will probably follow him like, stick into a sandwich, he is not going to have people that will go along with him and do it. There are a ton of Democrats as well as Republicans who would like to impeach, get rid of, or whatever, Trump. The problem is, and this is the one thing that the Democrats are not going to be able to get around, is guess what? If Trump is impeached, Hillary isn't the second place winner and she becomes president. That's what they're thinking in their mind, I think.
Yeah.
I can't understand it. You can go down through from all the way from the vice president to the secretary of state to the speaker of the House and clear down the ladder, and none of them are Democrats.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's not going to happen. So I don't understand why they won't just get off it and get busy. This is the problem, is that they're so focused on that we're not paying attention to anything that needs to be done or anything that's happening and needs to be reported, anything like that. We're trying to get a wall built, and here we had just the other day an illegal alien in Omaha, Nebraska, who had been deported several times, and he was drunk. And he killed a 58-year-old man who was the father of 3. How many people heard about that one?
Yeah.
They're keeping that right under the grid so that nobody can see it or hear it, and have that amplified as, do you understand why we need a wall and why we need some of these laws and why we can't have friendly cities for illegal aliens that have broke the law? They just won't report any of this kind of stuff. Well, the family of this man who was killed, I bet you they'd like to hear some repercussion against some of the illegal aliens.
Well, Rita, even here in Magic Valley, and maybe even especially here in Magic Valley, we turn a deaf ear and a blind eye to the illegal aliens in our country, and especially right here in Magic Valley, because of various industries. We don't want to hurt that industry. So we're really hypocrites when it comes to maintaining law and order in our country.
Well, we absolutely are, and I thought it was quite good. I did not actually see the interview, but I read the interview when Republican Steve King was on CNN I think it was either yesterday or the day before, and Allison Camerata was interviewing him and, kind of giving him well, do you really think that it's good? Are you comfortable holding up funding for the federal government if it didn't include money for the border wall? And he said, absolutely, I am comfortable with it. And he suggested that they add money to the thing and for food stamps and Planned Parenthood, and then they use that to fund the wall. And so, she's kind of off on her. Oh my gosh, that's just terrible. Are you sure that, that this is the thing that you ought to do? That's taxpayer money, not from Mexico. And he says, absolutely, yes. I'd like to throw another $5 billion on the pile and find $500 million right out of the Planned Parenthoods and the others, because the rest of it could come out of food stamps and entitlements that are being spread out for people that haven't worked in 3 generations. He's trying to get something done, and you don't see any of this in the mainstream.
Absolutely.
And it's pathetic, because these are the reasons why we need to build the wall and why we need to reform some of this stuff. One of the other things is he mentioned is, he says, the second thing, I wouldn't impose anything anymore on stricter on America than what Obama did, or Michelle did to the school lunch program. So I just say, let's set the limit for that. Anybody wants to have food stamps, it's up to the school lunch program. We'll let them have the food stamps for that. And we haven't seen it go from we have seen this go from 19 million people on now the SNAP program, up to 47 million people on the SNAP program. And so all we're doing is just increasing that. And if we would get rid of some of those things and enforce the laws and build the fence, we'd come up with 19 million or 10 million new jobs.
Absolutely.
Because of them thinning out those who aren't here legally.
Absolutely. I got to do a weather forecast, Rita, but just give me a quick response to this. I have maintained on my program, you've heard me say this, that we need to go county by county, city by city, and review every file to find out who the deadbeats and the leeches are in our system and get rid of them and make them responsible for their own living.
That's absolutely the thing that needs to happen. I've mentioned it before. We need to just totally say anybody who's going to get any kind of government entitlements, Social Security, any kind of disability, any of that kind of stuff, they need to be requalified. And we start with the senior citizens on Social Security and make sure everybody that's getting Social Security qualifies for it. People can go out to homes, get them requalified, and we would start removing a lot that we're not supposed to be there.
Amen. Thank you. Stand by. I'll be right back. Our weather brought to you this hour by Phillips Oakes Goodwin Crane and Company. CPAs providing accounting services to the Mini-Cache area, and well over 50 years of great service to help you. And, of course, with tax return preparation, tax planning, financial statement preparation, retirement planning. They know. And they really care. They can help you, your family, and your business. Please remember they have 2 locations, 1710 Overland Avenue in Burley and 620 5th Street in Rupert. They can help folks that are starting a business or need to hire maybe more employees, and they've got all the information you need to run your business and your home efficiently. Phillips Oakes Goodwin Crane and Company. And they bring you now the weather.
We are still in that red flag warning. It is going to be in effect through the weekend and probably extended until Mother Nature gives us some moisture. I don't know if that's going to be happening anytime soon, as this high-pressure system is still sticking around. For today, we are looking at sunny to partly cloudy skies, a little bit on the breezy side, winds out of the southeast, 5 to 10 miles an hour. High of 94 tonight, partly cloudy skies, low of 60. Tomorrow, partly cloudy skies, high of 94 with an overnight low of 61. Getting close to the triple-digit mark for Saturday. That is your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
Appreciate it, Gina. Great job. Appreciate everything you do for the weather. And don't forget Phillips Oakes Goodwin Crane and Company. CPAs that know, CPAs that care, and they can and will help you. With locations in Burley and Rupert, Phillips Oakes Goodwin Crane and Company. Caller, quickly with your question for Rita. Go ahead.
No, you're fine, sir. I just had an itchy finger.
We'll scratch it. Okay, buddy. Anyhow, Rita, back to you. I want to talk to you about something a little bit different this morning. I absolutely have taken this case in New York City with the policewoman, her last name Familia, that was assassinated sitting in her squad car. And the respect that is gone for our police, the respect for their lives and their well-being as they care for us and our communities is absolutely pathetically low right now by the absolute insane people that want to do away with the police and everything they stand for. What were your thoughts about this policewoman and police in general, the way they're being treated today?
Well, this really makes me feel sad to think that so many people would be against just a group of people, basically because they're enforcing the law. Anybody who's opposed to the police, have they stopped to think what would happen if there were no police? I mean, yeah, there might be a few incidences that are, less than stellar, but I'll tell you something. Generally, when it comes down to it, the majority are good, and they're out there serving their country. They're serving us, and they don't get paid near what they ought to get paid. And there's a whole bunch of ramifications that go along with that. We can thank President Obama for really escalating the deal with the police. I mean, that started practically the moment that he was inaugurated, when he started, condemning the police. Remember, for his friend who was a professor at Harvard or wherever he was, and then we're going to have the little beer summit and make it look like, well, I guess it was kind of a bad attack I did on the police. But he went from one locale to the other, Ferguson, Baltimore, all over everywhere, trying to make people hate the police and start. I mean, he was community organizing, which is what he did best and still does, organizing people to be opposed to the police, because that's the way that you can get, people all upset and everything else, is start saying, oh, there's racism going on, and just tumbling the apple cart to where everything's rolling all over. And he showed the least respect for our police and the military right behind him. But, he's the one who started this, and he's probably just sitting back in his chair saying, yes, I did good, I tore apart America, and that's what's happening, and it's really sad because the police have become targets of people who aren't mentally with it, and then they've also become targets with anybody who breaks the law and doesn't want to be held to a standard.
There's one other thing, and I've only got 2 minutes left, but if I were a resident of New York City, I can guarantee you that I would be going out with a petition right now to find as many names as possible to have Mayor Bill de Blasio thrown completely out of office, and don't let the door hit him in the posterior on the way out. I would never let him be dog catcher in that city for his absolute brazen attack on the police and his lack of respect for the police, and especially in this case of the mother of three. And she's shot and assassinated, and de Blasio, for a ceremony to honor her and other police, he goes across the water to Hamburg, Germany, and sides with the protesters. I got to watch myself on the radio. I have a lot of words I'd like to say about Bill de Blasio, but he is at utmost despicable.
Well, he really is, and it's really sad that the people of that area have not weighed that out and thought, you know what, we need to get rid of this guy. First of all, he's a communist, and second of all, he doesn't respect the people of that city. All he's trying to do is implement more red tape and more laws, and we're going to be in charge and tell you what to do.
Rita, every time you're on the air, I just look forward to it because there's a lot of good conversation back and forth on everything. I didn't get a chance to go into a lot of the topics. I'll tell you this, stay cool. It's going to remain warm for a while, and we'll talk to you next Thursday on the program.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
God bless you. Rita Ramsey, I really enjoy having her on the show. I know, mid-morning, I'm a little hungry. No, that's a lie. I'm very hungry. I'm starving to death, and I know some great places to go for lunch. Yes, like the AC Drive-In 601 East Main in Burley. Oh, they've got shrimp and fries and fish and chips for just $6.50. Oh my goodness, and shakes of all flavors, including the chicken fried steak sandwich. Have you had one? Oh, so good. AC Drive-In 601 East Main in Burley. You stop in and see them today. How about the Taco Bandito 2301 Overland in Burley? Oh my goodness, that new pork burrito. Oh, people are talking about that. Beans, pork, rice, sour cream and cheese. It is delicious. And how about Taco Bandito with bacon that has jalapeno in it? Ooh, baby, that's good. You better stop in and see them today. Taco Bandito 2301 Overland in Burley. Well, how about Burgers Etc.? 2 locations serving you. 124 South Oneida in Rupert and 700 Overland in Burley. Root beer floats only 99 cents after 3 p.m. And fresh strawberry shakes and delicious burgers. And every Sunday at the Burley location, shrimp dinner for only $5.99. Wow! Burgers Etc. in Rupert and Burley. Well, Steve-O's over in Heyburn at 290 South, 600 west of Heyburn. You know, I tell you what, the famous patio is open, and they got music on the patio every Friday and Saturday night, along with great, great food, and a new salad called the Chaos Salad, chicken breast with bacon, pickles, jalapeno peppers. Sounds really good to me. And all kinds of different soups, and great people serving you at Steve-O's. 290 South, 600 west of Heyburn. And last but not least, Doc's Pizza at 514 6th Street in Rupert, and they were voted the best pizza in the Minicash area again for 2017. And they've got dessert pizzas, and they've got all the different subs and soups and salads, all of this, and great friendly people serving you at Doc's Pizza. On the square, 514 6th Street in Rupert. You stop over and see them today. And those are just a few great places to go when you're hungry and starving to death. As you know, excuse me, I also am in the real estate business with dear friends Coldwell Banker Canyonside Realty, and we have a beautiful house listed over in the Burley area at 150 East, 41 South, Burley, and it is a nice, nice place. 3-bedroom home, 3 baths. You're going to love it. If you want to take a look at it and find out more about this place, please call my partner, Tad Haney, at 420-4195 or myself at 312-2976. Beautiful home, one of Burley's finest, and we'll tell you more, okay? Right now, we're going to get ready for the news, and here's what's coming up next hour. We are going to have our Cassia County School Days. Dusty Fisher is going to be on the air with us, talking about a trip to Italy, and then our Business Salute with K&R Rental. Roger's going to be on the air, and then at 10:32, we've got John Zemurek, Dr. John Zemurek, talking about a very sad story about that infant in Great Britain, Charlie Gard. So stay tuned. We'll be back in a few moments. Zeb at the Ranch. Oh my, here we go, last hour of Zeb at the Ranch for this Thursday with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley. Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you. And, of course, some of our great advertisers like Western Waste Services, always at your disposal. Call them at 734-6969. You know, I want to remind you, there are a lot of good things going to be happening over at Oakley for Oakley Pioneer Days, and it starts tonight. We'll tell you more about that or tomorrow night, pardon me. It starts tomorrow evening. We'll tell you more about that momentarily. But some of the great sponsors and businesses over in Oakley, like Searles at 106 North Center Street in Oakley, they urge you to come on down to Oakley Pioneer Days. And, oh my goodness, the specialty buns baked fresh every day for their sandwiches, pizzas and the gas grubbing goodies. It's all there, open 6 in the morning till 9 at night. Searles at 106 North Center in Oakley. Along with Speaker of the House Scott Bedke, Representative Bedke says, come on over to Oakley and enjoy the 130th anniversary of a great Western tradition, Oakley Pioneer Days. Thank you, Speaker of the House Scott Bedke, and boy, there's going to be a lot of fun for everyone in Oakley. Also, Smith's Cafe at 135 East Main in Oakley. They're open Monday through Saturday, 6:30 until 1, and Sundays until 11, and they make their own patties for the big 1/3 burger. Oh, this is a dandy, and onion rings to die for. So stop over and see the good folks at Smith's Cafe, 135 East Main in Oakley. And all of those folks wanting you to come on down to Oakley for Oakley Pioneer Days that starts tomorrow night with the 9th annual Bump and Rub Car Race. Woo, baby, on Friday and Saturday night at 6 o'clock. And it's going to be wild. Man, I'm telling you, this would set NASCAR back about 100 years. These guys, they're going to have fun. And it's going to get, like I said, wild and woolly. Along with that, they're going to have team opens, and they're going to have an open rodeo on the 21st and 22nd, co-sanctioned with the IMPRA, fireworks, dancing, basketball, volleyball, and on the 22nd, that huge parade at 11:30 in the morning. All of this and more at Oakley Pioneer Days, July 14th through the 22nd. Don't you miss it. Wow, they're going to have a good time. Always do. In just a few moments, we're going to get all set to go with, of course, our Cassia County School Days. And I want to remind you again that next Thursday, the 20th, we're going to be at Denny's Restaurant America's Diner for our Zeb at the Ranch, Zeb's Lunch Bunch at 11:30. Next Thursday, the 20th at 11:30. Don't you miss it. Right now, we're going to get all set to go for Cassia County School Days, and the sponsors of that segment are A Child's World at 1308 Overland and Burley. And for all the baby gifts and the birthday presents and the clothing and the games and the puzzles, oh my goodness, it's all there for you at A Child's World, 1308 Overland and Burley. You stop in and see these good folks today. And don't forget, too, Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland Avenue in Burley for your outpatient surgeries, and they can save you money. That's right. Call them and find out more. 677-8888. 677-8888. Ambulatory Surgery Center and A Child's World, bringing you Cassia County School Days. And with us on the phone line right now, I hope, is, of course, the choir teacher at Burley High School. He's been on the program before, does a great job. Good morning, Dusty Fisher. How are you?
I haven't gotten a call yet, sir.
Well, then, let's try calling him at 650-0731. Call right away.
Will do.
All right, thank you. We're going to see if we can get him on the line. I only have limited time, so we've got to get things organized here and get Dusty on the phone. And while I'm waiting for him to pick up the line, I also want to tell you about the Idaho Rodeo Hall of Fame. We're going to have our great big banquet and induction ceremony, and it's coming up on July 28th and 29th at the Canyon Crest Event Center in Twin. And for tickets, contact Katie at 733-9392. Friday night, Tough Enough to Wear Pink Night. Percentage of the proceeds goes to breast cancer awareness at St. Luke's Foundation. $10 entry fee. Please come and support it. Lots of door prizes and fun. Then on Saturday night, the 29th, Hall of Fame induction starting at 5 p.m. with the social hour, dinner at 6. And we really want to take the time to say thank you to D.L. Evans Banks. Boy, they've been phenomenal to work with as our major sponsor, and along with Tech Distributing, your Coors dealer. Thank you so much. Wheels, do we have our man?
Yes, sir. I'm putting him through.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, here is now the choir teacher at Burley High School, and his name is Dusty Fisher. Good morning, Dusty. How are you?
Hey, Zeb, I'm doing great. How are you?
I thought you forgot about us there for a minute.
Oh, no, I completely forgot about you. I didn't get my reminder call with Deb this morning.
Oh, okay. Well, now listen, I understand you just got back from a tour of Italy. What in the world were you doing over there?
We had the chance to perform with a large choir that came from all over the state. And we converged on Rome, and there were probably 150 voices. And we had a chance to do some concerts together throughout the Rome and Florence and that area. And then we had chances to perform on our own as well.
Well, now, how did you get this all coordinated, Dusty? I mean, when you take all these kids and you go to a foreign country, I mean, man alive, the organizational skills must have been extreme.
I had a really wonderful company that kind of held my hand. They're called KI Concerts, and that's what they do. They organize groups to go international and perform in some of the most amazing venues. We even got to sing Wednesday night Mass at St. Peter's Basilica at the Vatican.
Oh, my goodness. Now, what were the ages of the kids that were on this tour?
For my group, it was all high school. I had freshmen that were 13, 14 years old, clear up through recently graduated seniors who were 17, 18. But I also had some adults go on the trip from my adult choir. And the other choirs that were there was a college choir, there was a community choir, another high school group. So the age ranges pretty much went from 13 to over 50.
Do you think that most of the people that were on that tour, regardless of their age, whether they were young or in high school, college, or adults, did they really appreciate how valuable that tour was?
If they didn't by day one, they did by day four. It was kind of fun to watch the kids especially. When the bel cantos sang at our first concert, we were in a cathedral in Rome. In cathedrals, the resonance is designed for the voice. And so when we would sing, about 3-4 seconds later after we cut off, we would hear our sound come back to us. And it was fun to watch the kids' faces when they realized the music we were singing was actually written for that space.
Oh, my goodness. What about being on a stage like that in such historic places? Were a lot of people taken back and in awe, and it might have subdued them somewhat?
Oh, yes. We went to the Colosseum one of the first days there, Roman Colosseum, and the guides there had this incredible historical knowledge they were sharing with us. Watching the kids' faces when they touched a piece of the wall, realizing that that wall has been there for a couple thousand years, was kind of fun to watch.
Oh, my goodness. Well, it would have been for anybody at any age. Of all the tour, not only seeing a lot of our history of the world, but what was your standout moment that you remember the most?
Probably that first concert with the kids. Watching them finally grasp all the stuff I have been preaching all year long, shoving down their throats, that their face formations matter, their posture matters, and all that stuff ties in with amazing singing and how all that sound combines. And these 45 kids filled a complete, huge, ancient basilica.
Wow.
With their sound, because everything lined up. And watching that realization on their face was just amazing.
You know, when you talk about all the great singers of the world, a lot of them because of the music and everything else, a lot of great singers and groups have come from that area. Thus, in turn, how did they respect and appreciate you coming in with your high school students?
When you're on the receiving end of traveling groups, you never know what to expect. They could say they're the best choir in the States, and then they get there and they can't sing Mary Had a Little Lamb in tune. All the choirs that were on this tour were impeccable, and so the audience response was amazing. The churches where we sang, the basilicas where we sang, you had to call in and to reserve your free seat. We had standing room only at most of the concerts. So the folks over there know the company and know that the company puts together really solid-sounding choirs to come.
Dusty, this is a question not to denigrate anybody in the United States or any parts of the world else, but what about the reception? I mean, is music more readily accepted, whether it's a choir, whether it's a band or whatever, in other parts of the world, especially in Italy, or is it accepted everywhere?
It's relatively accepted everywhere, but back in the old country, folks just appreciate the art so much more. Here, you kind of have to really show people what you can do instead of people just assuming it's going to be good. You have to prove to them it's going to be good. They're willing to take the chance to come to a concert, even if it may not be the best quality. They really appreciate the art. When you're walking down the street and you're seeing marble statues that are a couple thousand years old, or a couple hundred years old, excuse me, it becomes just a part of your culture, I believe.
What did it do as far as the format of the singing? How did you choose the songs that you were going to sing over there?
I chose all a cappella music. I chose music that required no accompaniment at all because it's easier to sing that way. We could just stand somewhere and sing. Did that a bunch. But I chose songs that would fill a chamber, would fill a room with specific key signatures matter, what key the kids are singing in or any choir singing. I found songs that were more of our culture. We did spirituals. We did Shenandoah, which is a good Appalachian tune. We did things that were our country over there because I assumed that they would want to hear stuff from us, not us sing their music.
Now, okay, it's easy to talk about whether the kids were nervous, whether they were high school, elementary, junior high, college, whatever. Let's turn the table a little bit. How nervous was Dusty Fisher?
My nerves came mainly during the fundraising process. I knew once I got the kids out of country and started doing the touring that I had trained them all year. It's not like we just went and I said, here, there's Italy, go. My nerves were all probably in the fundraising side of it because it's tough to raise $250,000.
Wow. And you did it, and are you going to do it again?
I hope it's about every 3 years to take a group somewhere internationally. So it was 3 years ago I started planning for Italy, so I'm now planning for our next trip. And right now with the international scene being a little shaky, kind of tough, but there is an amazing choir competition in Budapest.
Oh, really?
That I would love my kids to experience.
Wow. What about the people that you walked up to and talked to, or they came up to you? I mean, let's forget the partisan politics. Let's throw that in the garbage can. What were their thoughts about listening to young Americans sing in their country?
Well, probably the best thing is to share one of our concerts with you. We were on the Spanish Steps in Florence. I think that's where they are. My brain's a little fudgy still. We were standing and singing. We were just doing our concert repertoire. I turned around. The first time there's an acknowledged audience, there were about 30 people there. I turned around the second time. There were 300 to 400 people all standing there recording us on their phone.
Oh, my goodness. Wow. I mean,
So now we have a Facebook presence that is thousands upon thousands of people listening to us sing.
I'll bet these kids, a lot of them, they were very humble to the point where they were glad to be there and do a great job. But I'll bet you with that kind of response from the crowd when they left Italy, they felt like rock stars.
Yeah, I'm sure they did.
What about the older folks, the adults that were on the trip with you? What were some of their feelings about the songs and the receptive attitude of the people in Italy?
Surprisingly, there are many folks that traveled with us that had never been international before.
Oh, my.
And it was fun to watch the adults, because they realized more quickly the reception we were getting. And it was fun to watch their faces when they realized how appreciated they were by the Italians and by the folks as we performed.
You must have the patience of Job, because sometimes when you're with younger groups and younger people and you try to get everybody on the same page and try to get them at a certain location at a certain time, it can resort back to herding cats. You must have a lot of patience.
Well, it's amazing what a cattle prod will do. And also, at the beginning of the year, if you kill one and hide the body, usually it gets behaved.
Well, kudos to you, my friend, because it sounds like an outstanding trip. Any other last highlight that you'd like to leave us with on that choir tour to Italy?
Probably one of the most fun moments we had was I took my seniors who had recently graduated, and we went off to a restaurant on our own and just kind of had some time together. And it was just fun to sit with them and to discuss with them where they were heading after we got home. And just the appreciation they had for me was pretty amazing.
Oh, man. That's an experience and a memory that you will never forget. Dusty Fisher, the choir teacher at Burley High School, God bless you, man. Come back soon.
Oh, we'll do that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Wow, what a trip. What a great memory right there. I mean, that sounds like a lot of fun. And, of course, Cassia County School Days brought to you by A Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley and the Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland Avenue in Burley. Number to call, 677-8888. Thank you very much. Wheels, quickly, this good word for the Silver State Stampede.
Nevada's oldest rodeo. The Silver State Stampede roars into Elko July 13th, 14th, and 15th for family entertainment at its best. This PRCA rodeo brings you the thrill of professional riders going head-to-head in one of the world's toughest sports, rodeo. The action kicks off Thursday with the annual kickoff party featuring mutton busting, Old West bronc riding, tri-tip dinner for just $10, and an extra dose of the world-famous Ring of Fear. Head into Friday and Saturday for PRCA rodeo action with the award-winning Wild Child Rodeo Clown and dance the night away with the Jeff Palmer Band. So gather your friends and get your tickets today for the 2017 Silver State Stampede, July 13th through the 15th, and don't forget to wear your pink for Tough Enough to Wear Pink Night on Saturday. Family entertainment at its best with the 2017 Silver State Stampede at the Elko County Fairgrounds. You'll pay for the whole seat, but you'll only need the end.
Oh, my fun times in Elko. And right now, our business salute for this week. And we go over to a business that's been on our program for a couple of months, and I can't wait to hear this man on the radio. Good morning, Roger, over at K&R Rental, 256 South, 600 west of Hayburn. How are you, sir?
I'm still trying to get him on the phone.
Well, let's hurry. Let's hurry and get him on the line. K&R Rental, 256 South, 600 west of Hayburn. They're open Monday through Friday, 7 to 5:30, Saturday, 7 to 2. And we haven't had Roger on our program in the past, and so we're looking forward to having him come on the program. And don't forget a little programming note. At 10:32 this morning, we're going to have Dr. John Zamirik on the program. He has written an outstanding piece in the stream called In Regards to the Infant Charlie Gard over in Great Britain, and it's a heartbreaking story, and we're going to have him on at 10:32 this morning. Wheels, do we have Roger on the line?
Yes, sir, we do.
Good morning, Roger, over at K&R Rental. How are you, sir?
Good. How's Zeb doing?
Well, I'm not bad for an old fat man, but I'll tell you what, you folks have been in business since 1979, and really in your inventory, how do you conduct an inventory when you've got everything?
With a long sheet of paper and an ink pen.
Well, I tell you what, I've said on the ad that you've got everything from forklifts to garden tools. And how do people go about renting equipment? I mean, a lot of people are saying, well, I've never done it before. What do I do? Give them the easy way.
They usually come in, explain what they're doing so we can get them the right piece of equipment.
Uh-huh.
Then go over the machine, show them how to operate it. And as for picking it up, they just have to have a driver's license, and if it's a towable piece of equipment, they've got to have a proof of liability insurance on what they're towing it with. We go through it, show them how to run it, set it up, and that way if there's any problems or questions, they can we can go over the machine with them before they leave.
Absolutely. Now, one of the things that Deanne told me is that you are a Honda engine dealer, and you've got all the parts that they might need, farmers, for wheel lines. Is that correct?
Yeah, we keep a lot of the fast-moving parts in stock. The other parts we have to order in, but we do keep a really good supply of parts.
You know, you got everything for the people that want to do their gardening, or maybe they've got to do the painting of their house, their garage, or whatever. I mean, I'm really impressed with how you keep everything organized and keep all people happy with what you have at K&R Rental.
Well, we try to do that. It doesn't always work, but we try to do that.
Well, again, tell us the hours that you're open over there, because I think you got some early birds that turn the key early in the morning.
Yeah, we're here from 7 till 6, Monday through Saturday, in the summertime. And we usually I'm usually in here a few minutes before 7, so I can catch the people that have to be to work by 7. So.
And on Saturdays, hours are different?
No, 7 to 6.
Okay, well, by golly, we're going to keep telling everybody about what a great business you have. And what about year-round? I mean, do you see kind of a lessening in the wintertime, or are there a lot of equipment needs during that time of the year?
It all depends on the amount of construction going on. If there's a lot of construction, yeah, weather makes a lot of difference. If it's still a warm, mild winter, then there's more stuff going on. If it's really cold, then there's heaters, sewer snakes, stuff like this, because usually there's plug lines, and I mean, it's just a wide variety.
Okay.
So it all depends on the weather.
Well, I'll tell you what, for anything and everything, it's right there at K&R Rental. Now, I knew that you were a little hesitant to come on the radio, but I'll tell you what, my job's in jeopardy. You did a good job, and I'll have you back, Roger.
Well, my only problem is occasionally I am someplace. And maybe not sitting here at my desk. So that's where the hard part is.
Okay. Well, God bless you. You did a great job, and we're going to send everybody over to K&R Rental, 256 South, 600 West of Hayburn. And what's the number over there, Roger, real quick?
It is 678-3122, and that's on the Burley Paul Highway.
All right, my friend. Have a great weekend. Stay cool.
Thank you very much, Zeb.
All right, take care. Nice man right there. Roger at K&R Rental, and they have everything that you might need at K&R Rental. What have I got here? It looks like we're ready to take a little break at the bottom of the hour, and then we're going to come back with Dr. John Zamirik in just a few moments. So stay tuned. More of Zeb at the Ranch in just about 3 minutes.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
I have never been more saddened or more frustrated or outright mad as I have been over following this story about a young baby infant Charlie Gard in the United Kingdom. And a dear friend of our program, Dr. John Zamirik, has written a great piece on this story with a co-writer, Jason Jones. And I'm very fortunate to have Dr. John Zamirik on the program this morning. Good morning, John. How are you?
Good morning. I'm fine. No, I'm equally saddened by this story. It's really, really an atrocity.
John, you will find with some of my questions and responses to what you know about this story, I'm going to be very, very guarded in my speech because it makes me so mad to think, and if I say something out of line here as far as the actual story and the content of the story, correct me, but to think that government and people have a higher motive than the parents that love their child. This absolutely infuriates me. Go ahead and pick it up from there.
Yeah. It should be very clear. This is a case of government-imposed euthanasia. Okay? That's what it is. The parents want to try this long-shot treatment for their baby. They're not asking the government to pay for it. They're not asking some insurance company or some other third party. They have found the money through GoFundMe. There's no chance that the treatment would make the child worse. It won't cause him any suffering. Everyone admits that. What the doctors are saying, and the British courts and the European Court of Human Rights, what they're saying is they don't want the child to have the treatment because it might work. And then it will keep him alive, but he's brain damaged, so his life is of no value to him or implicitly to the taxpayer. So what they're saying is This child has to be cut off from the ventilator, cut off from food and water, and allowed to die like Terry Schiavo was, because his life has no value. And the parents have no say. That's what this is about. Cut through all the medical jargon, all the gobbledygook. This is euthanasia. They are killing a baby against the parents' wishes because the government thinks the baby's life is worthless.
You know, right there, I've got to really guard my verbiage because I'm so frustrated and so mad about this, to think that others that wear three-piece suits and wingtip shoes walk in the halls of Parliament or anywhere in this world are going to govern and dictate who lives and who dies and what parents suffer and which ones don't. That makes me so mad I'm ready to fight at the drop of a hat.
Yeah, I mean, I think if this case were happening in Texas and the government were doing this, I think a bunch of people would use their Second Amendment rights and go free that child. I think it's really sad that in England nobody has firearms because, frankly, this would be an example of where tyranny is so bad that it merits resistance.
Why aren't more people...
A bunch of English soccer hooligans would accompany the father, march into that hospital, and take that child out. Go to jail later, pay the fine. But that government needs to be confronted. If they get away with this, they're going to do it again.
Yeah,
but if they get away with it in England, the freest country in the European Union, they'll be doing it here soon. This is the kind of thing that would be happening now if Hillary Clinton had been elected president. If we ever elect another Democrat, ever, even once, stuff like this will start to happen. That's how far gone the left is in their embrace of what Pope John Paul II called a culture of death.
You know, John, I don't even know where to go. Your article was very well written. I hold it in the highest regard. But when it comes down to brass tacks, I mean, a parent, a husband and wife are sitting there with their hands folded in their laps, praying 24/7 every day for the child and the better health of that child. And the government, with a cold, calloused way and a wave of their wand, says, no, we're sorry, your child's going to die because we deem his life is not necessary. I don't know how I'd react, but I can tell you this much. I don't think the law would appreciate it.
That's right. Well, you know, we're about to celebrate the anniversary of Normandy, this wonderful movie about Dunkirk, about how the British Army escaped destruction by the Nazis in 1940 after the French were defeated. And if that army had been destroyed, Britain would have surrendered, and the Nazis would have won World War II. So as we look at that, and we celebrate these other anniversaries, like Normandy invasion, we have to look around Europe. There is euthanasia being imposed on the handicapped. Europe is being flooded with angry, violent young men who hate Jews and hate Christianity. The government is dictating what children will live, what children will die, based on its estimate of the value of their lives. It's saying that some lives are unworthy of life. Euthanasia is one of the leading causes of death in Belgium and the Netherlands. And the government is censoring what people can say on Facebook and Twitter based on whether it agrees with the government. I want to ask, which side actually won World War II? Jews are fleeing from Europe because of violent anti-Semitism. It's as if the Nazis found a backdoor way to impose their values anyway. And that's what the European Union, or as I call it, the European Soviet Union, which is, guess what, run by Germany. Guess what, anti-Semitic, anti-Christian, euthanasia. The Nazis really won the war in some horrible spiritual sense.
You know, John, I don't mean to get sidetracked a little bit from your article, but bear with me because I think you'll understand the correlation of where I'm going. We're looking at the state of Oregon now that says, oh, yeah, they'll pay for abortions. They're going to have free abortions, even for illegal immigrants. And then we're talking about a Hemlock Society with lesser care for our older people. I mean, what kind of a damn society are we creating here?
Well, we're in a society that has embraced the only logical position for atheists. And that logical position is called utilitarian hedonism. Basically, it means we have no idea of what is good. We have no idea of human dignity. We can't agree on the most fundamental values. So we're going to agree on the lowest common denominator, which is we want to feel pretty happy for most of our lives and have as much fun as possible before we die and we're extinguished like a match dropped into a bus station toilet. That's man's fate. We're just matches being dropped in a toilet, then we're gone. If that's what you believe, then you're going to try to make people's lives as pleasant as possible before they end up in that toilet. And you're going to try to pile up the maximum number of happy moments for everybody that you can. And if you see a child who's sick, who's bringing his parents down, have to take care of him, and is costing the government money, you're going to do a little actuarial calculation, and you're going to decide that his happy moments quotient is not high enough. You got to put him to death and use those resources to give somebody else more happy moments. That's what's going on.
John, when you mentioned earlier about the private money, this is not something that's going to cost the taxpayers any money. This is not something that's coming out of the government till. It's all private money for the furthering, hopefully, of Charlie Gard's life. And the parents are not asking for anything that will not be paid for. Why in the world can they not pursue any medical avenue to try to save their son?
Because the government doesn't want the child to live. This is just euthanasia. They might as well send the doctors in to just snap the baby's neck. That's what they're doing. When I went to visit Vienna, my family's from the Austrian Empire. I went to visit this hospital, Otto Wagner Hospital. It's a hospital on the outskirts of Vienna. It has one of the most beautiful churches in the world. It was a modern church built in 1914 in this gorgeous, a gorgeous, modern but traditional style. And it's a mental hospital, and it had this little pavilion. And this was a pavilion which, when the place was founded, it was founded as a Christian hospital. The government was pro-Christian, and they had a special little clinic for children who were handicapped. And they would teach the children crafts, and they teach them games, and they would give them spiritual help, and they would try to help the kids find the best potential they could and have the best lives they could despite their handicaps, because they had a Christian view of the human person and they saw life as sacred. When the Nazis took over Austria in 1936, they turned that little children's rehabilitation center into a euthanasia center, where they put the children to death, cut off their skulls, and saved them and did brain experiments on them because they decided those lives were unworthy of life. That same hospital, which was set up by Christians to take care of these children and make them as happy as possible and try to just, flourish with what God gave them, this post-Christian, atheist government turned it into a killing facility. That little hospital in Vienna is a microcosm of what's happening all across the Western world.
I don't even know how to respond because I'm both filled right now with fury and also sadness as to how low and demented humanity has become. You mentioned churches. I've got to ask you this in your study. I don't care if you're Episcopalian. I don't care if you're Catholic. I don't care if you're Lutheran. I don't care if you're Methodist. I don't care what religion you are. Why aren't churches standing up for this young boy?
Well, I think a lot of American Christians are. And I think the Catholic Church in England has done so, and I'm sure evangelical churches are doing it. You have to remember the churches are much, much weaker in Europe than they are here.
True.
And that's in large part, I think, because of socialism. In Europe, if you have a need, you go to the government. You don't go pray in church when you're unemployed. You go show up and you get a big fat check from the government, sometimes for 5 or 10 years. I think that socialism exercises a really chilling effect on religious faith because people look at the government as the provider. The government as what they turn to in times of difficulty. They don't turn to God. They don't turn to their network of friends and family. They don't trade favors. They don't cooperate. Each person is an isolated atom in relationship with one thing, Leviathan, the monster government. And I think socialism has helped create atheism in Europe, and they work hand in hand.
John, you as a writer and author and studier, if you will, of the human mind and spirit, you must be really concerned almost to the point of being totally afraid of what is going to happen with the upcoming generation of millennials with a careless attitude towards humanity.
Yeah, if I had children, I would be very, very sad and depressed and worried about the future. I really, I hope good people have large families and school them in good values and teach them to vote, teach them to shoot, get their concealed carry permits, stay involved in politics, homeschool their kids, fight tooth and nail for their freedom because they're going to have to. We are not leaving behind a healthy environment for the next generation. We are spending our children's inheritance, as they say. It's like we've taken the moral capital of the West and went to Atlantic City and poured it into a slot machine.
Yeah.
And our kids are going to have to start from scratch. We've got a new dark ages ahead of us, and we better be ready to vote, ready to evangelize, ready to fight to defend our freedom in every sense of the word.
John, do you think that, and I know this is a hard question to answer, but do you think that parents across the globe, young parents, middle-aged parents, whatever, did they realize that parental responsibilities and rights are being stripped from them and they really are nothing to that child according to the government?
I think that this case has brought that home. I think that's why so many people are ponying up their own money to try to take care of this child. They feel on some level that he's a bellwether. But, there have been cases like this before in Europe and in Canada. In Europe, there's a family that had their child taken away from them and put in a psychiatric hospital. Why? Because they were homeschooling the child. And that's illegal in Germany. And they diagnosed the child with this made-up disease of school phobia. And they brought the child to another city. They wouldn't even tell the parents what city the psychiatric hospital was in. Doesn't it sound like something from the Soviet Union? In Canada, there's a child who somehow got the idea that he's transgender. He's like 9 years old. Someone at the school found out, and they wanted to start giving the kid hormones to block him from having normal puberty. The parents said no. They lost custody of their child because they won't let him be dosed with hormones to fulfill his childish fantasy of being the opposite sex. That's child abuse enforced by the government. We have euthanasia enforced by the government. Any Christian who thinks he can be sidled up to big government and it'll be on his side and be our friend, you've got another thing coming. When the government steps in, it's always in an atheist direction. That's because the atheists have taken control of the government. You and I, we're not going to have a pro-Christian government. We just have to have a small government, a weak, a limited government, a constitutional government.
John, with this story, and you're writing in the stream, excellent article, by the way, again, do you notice any change or any fracturing in the guard against letting this young boy have this extra treatment? Are you seeing a weakening to where maybe the parents might win this case?
I'm not a legal expert, and this is going to be decided behind the scenes by cold-blooded bureaucrats. I have seen some public opinion shift. The Vatican at first came out against the parent because the Vatican has been taken over by George Soros-style globalists, thanks to Pope Francis. But there was such a public outcry when the Vatican's Council for Life, supposedly its pro-life wing, when it came out against the parents, there was such a backlash that Pope Francis backpedaled and sent out a tweet saying he supports the parents and offered to let the child come to a Vatican hospital. So that tells me that even Pope Francis had to back down from the destructive stance the Vatican was taking because of public opinion. So in our article at stream.org, we asked, will Charlie Gard bring down the European Union? Because this is such a violation of the most fundamental rights. Are people going to see that big centralized governments like the European Union, like the UN, which is trying to be a government, that these things attack the most fundamental basic rights of a human being, the right of parents to look out for their own child?
John, I understand that they're in consultation today and deciding the bad or the good of this case, and I can't even imagine, nor do I ever want to have to go through what they're going through, the cold, absolutely gripping response that these parents are going in right now. They don't know what's going to happen, and God help them. They must be in a state of continual turmoil right now.
Yeah. I'm sure, but there's millions of people are praying for them, too. And I think the best thing we can do right now is pray for those people. That's all we have left now, you know.
I totally agree. John, you have done an outstanding job on many, many articles. This one I hold in the highest regard. Thank you so much, Dr. John Zemurek. Come back soon, please. I always enjoy your work. Thank you. I don't even know what to say. I don't know how you would react. I know how I would react. I know how Deanne would react if that was our child. I would not let some stone-faced bureaucrat tell me that I could not pursue any avenue to save my child's life. If I'm not using any public money, I'm not doing anything that's going to cost the government out of their rolls, their money, and it's all private money, I demand that my child have every possible test, every possible net result to see if we couldn't do something to help that child. And for the government to say, no, we're just going to let him die, that's a government that I would be at severe odds with, and I would take any measure to fight them. Time for the weather, and the weather brought to you by Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. Number to call, 324-7657, or go to their website, scarrowmeats.com. They are in the retail meat business, and let me tell you, the most delicious of all. They have everything over there at their location in Jerome, and I urge you to get a hold of them today. Once again, they're located at 331 North Road in Jerome, Scarrows Meats. Right now, here's Gina with the weather.
We are still in that red flag warning. It is going to be in effect through the weekend and probably extended until Mother Nature gives us some moisture. I don't know if that's going to be happening anytime soon, as this high-pressure system is still sticking around. For today, we are looking at sunny to partly cloudy skies, a little bit on the breezy side, winds out of the southeast, 5 to 10 miles an hour. High of 94 tonight, partly cloudy skies, low of 60. Tomorrow, partly cloudy skies, high of 94 with an overnight low of 61. Getting close to the triple-digit mark for Saturday. That is your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
And thank you, Gina. Brought to everybody by Don Scarrow and the crew at Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. Number to call, 324-7657. They've got all the breakfast sausages and the bratwurst, and oh my goodness, it is all delicious. Get a hold of them today, because Scarrows Meats, changing the way we eat one delicious bite at a time. You know, our society, I know you think I'm on my soapbox again, and I am, because I own this program. I'll jump up on that soapbox anytime I want. Our society, in general, not only here but around the world, is going to, fill in the blanks. We've lost our respect and regard for human life, whether it is an unborn baby or a baby like Charlie Gard, or our seniors with kind of a hemlock attitude. Oh, you're old, you can't do this, that, or the other, you're not contributing, just get out of here, go die. That's the society we are tending to see more of every day, even in our country. We've got to stop this, folks. It has to change. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yeah, Zeb, we have the same problem going on right here in our country. In fact, right in the state of Utah below us. There was a kid down there that was sick, and his parents were trying to get him out of the hospital to bring him to Idaho, and they didn't want to let him leave the state because his grandfather lived in Pocatello. And he flew somebody that he knew had connections with out of, I don't know, someplace in Europe. I don't know if it was Italy or Switzerland, someplace. He flew him over here to help take care of his grandchild in Pocatello. Anyway, but the parents had to fight all the bureaucrats in Utah and the hospital down there to get him out.
I don't know how you'd respond. I don't think I know you personally, but I certainly appreciate your calls every time you call in. But I know myself and my personality that if it were one of my children, Jake or Toby, when they were growing up, and someone told me no because we don't want you to, or no, we're not going to let you, I can guarantee you, I don't care if I serve a prison term. I don't care what action I take that would be very, very hazardous to me and my health. I'm going to always do what I could or can do for my child. And to have a government official be cold and calloused and say, no, we're going to let your child die, I could not handle that.
I agree with you 100%. I'd probably be dead because I'd probably do something I shouldn't do.
Well, and that's not of the realm of reason whatsoever. I respect you because you were honest enough to say it. And I think any parent out there that would sit back and say, oh, well, yeah, I just let the government kill my child, they're not parents. They're nothing.
Well, the government doesn't own the child. And that's where I differ from the state of Utah, the hospitals, or the government in England.
But, really, is it? No, it's not different at all.
What's best.
Absolutely. But what I'm going to say is it's not any different on the other end of the spectrum, the way that we are starting to treat our seniors in this country. Oh, just let them die. We don't need them. They're non-productive anymore. Get rid of them. Save the money. It's the same on the other side of the spectrum.
Yes, you're right. Yep.
Thank you for your call, sir. God bless you. I appreciate it. Thank you. I better calm down. This is a subject that you better not try to be arbitrary with me face to face. Would not be a smart thing. Don't forget your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations, and they have all the tires for all of your driving needs. Everything for your cars, pickups, SUVs, like the backcountry all-terrain, all-season tread, advanced noise reduction, or how about other tires like the Eclipse tire for your cars, and it's starting at just $63, $64 premium traction, excellent tire. They have all the tires for all your driving needs. All you need to do is just go in and explain what you drive, how you drive, where you drive. They can and they will help you. Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family and Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland and Burley. The best, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Caller, I've got 1 minute. Go fast.
This is what you get when you let government take over your health care.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
And where you let the government says, okay, you got to have pre-existing conditions, then why can't you buy a car, run without insurance, you get into a wreck, go buy insurance and make them cover it? They won't let you do that.
Well, Doug, I tell you what, on this program, anytime the sanctity of life is at issue, you're going to hear one mad little German on this end of the microphone, because I absolutely do not like what we're seeing from bureaucracy around the globe.
Exactly. And it's basically the first steps of a death panel.
Absolutely.
And so you get older, you're going to start costing the government money. Too bad. So sad.
There you go. I got to run. I'm done. But, Doug, God bless you. Have a great weekend.
Hey, go out in the yard, use a cup holder, and relax for a little bit.
I'd like to. Thank you very much. Well, we got to run, and I hope you have a great weekend, and we'll be back here next Monday at 8:06, much to the dismay of the liberals, and we'll ride the horse for 3 hours, Monday, 8 to 11, right here on K-Bar, 12:30 a.m., and streaming live on ZebBell.com all over the world. Zeb at the Ranch, God bless, the way things were, the way things ought to be. Wheels, have a great weekend.